Can anyone stop Lorena Wiebes in it? No, they can't. All right, you know that. We're in the UAE Tour. We have a reversal of one of my favorite stages in cycling. But this, instead of going from Madinat Zayed to Al Mirfa, it starts on the coast in Al Mirfa and then goes inland to Madinat Zayed past the 100 megawatt nameplate capacity concentrating solar power station. Now, I used to write changes to the national electricity rules and other forms of electricity regulation back in the day. So I always love seeing that solar plant. Will we see some legs powered up in the sun? Lorena Wiebes, Kim Pina, strong GC stylist here, hometown team, Elisa Longoborghini with a very strong UAE team. And you see those flags fluttering in the wind. No wind though. Well, not enough. Sub 20 k's an hour. That's why they got solar installed here. Maybe there's not enough consistent wind to have onshore wind turbines set up. Obviously not, because I don't see them here. And despite some teams, well, they sort of got into position early. We're on the coast. Normally this stage is the one that starts inland, and then the Crosswind split it immediately. And there was even breakaways going. I was like, what is this nonsense? I wanted to see Echelon Madness, Nina Burton, Castagna, and Segato in the break for a time being. But then they turned left up where that water is. And actually, then there is going to be enough when the barricades and road furniture stop to try and split it. But when they go round the roundabout, UAE, they're in perfect position. They got Swinkles, Persico, Elisa Longoborghini is the leader, the Italian national champion. They got Lara Gillespie for the sprints and also for the crosswinds, Backstedt. So strong rouleur team and a couple of versatile climbers like Persico and Swinkles. They turn around, still a lot of trees, so you're not going to know. But then when they get out of town, UAE do try to split it. Obviously, SD Works are there. They're trying to protect Wiebes. And it looks like it might be happening, but there just wasn't enough wind. Despite the teams, they're really trying. Visma Bike are there. They got Veenhoven for the sprint, De Vries for GC, AG Insurance, obviously trying to keep Mauritian national champion Kim Pina, yellow jersey wearer at the Tour last year, that she's their GC rider safe. In fact, they probably want heavier crosswinds because she might lose time on the climb. Nothing happens. The big guns like her go back to the car. Movistar try again a little bit later, but the wind really wasn't playing ball, which, yeah, was a shame because normally, last year ELB just ripped like a solo echelon for 3 hours. Alarud crashes, so a moment of inattention nearly cost her. I think she got back up and was okay. There was an intermediate sprint, actually. Seemed like not all the GC riders were aware, and De Vries took the 3 seconds. Longoborghini didn't take any, actually, and then it chilled out. Charlotte calls. She's left Picnic Postonel, so Barbieri would be sprinting for Picnic Postonel. Wiebes was the heavy favourite. She's won, I think, 6 stages at the UAE Tour. And Charlotte calls on Phoenix Premier Tech now. She's got the full train at her support. And you see UAE at the back here. Because the roads are so wide, you can just move up in a K. And you don't need to worry like in European roads. Moving the whole team up in one line with 6 riders would be an exercise, and riders would get pinched off. You'd lose them on the way up. But in about a K, you can see that the entire team is already on the front, lined up, and they wouldn't really leave that position. SD Works are on their inside with Wiebes in the pocket. You can see that they're, keeping that inside position, and those are the 2 strongest trains. They simply do not move. I don't know if Phoenix, they could have probably done something differently if they moved a little bit earlier. It was 1,900 meters to go. They got 4 riders here. I think there was an opportunity, or maybe I think they had to move up really because they're too deep. Because then when the UAE lead out really starts with Longoborghini, this is the last moment where they needed to move up because, those 4 riders are not going to be able to move up once the final lead out actually starts. And that's pretty much what happens. Like, ELB is the strongest rider in the race, most likely. She puts it in a line. Wiebes is sitting about 9th wheel, boxed in, it looks like. It was a tricky sprint for her today, actually. I think this is the closest sprint she's come to losing in the UAE Tour for a while. although no, Charlotte Kool didn't push her in the UAE Tours in the Tour de France. 1K to go, as I said. Phoenix have been boxed in and separated from each other. And yeah, Vibes didn't get the magic lead out. She was actually at the mercy of UAE, who still had like 4 riders at this point. But she's getting squeezed off. She's getting pinched to her right. And then actually Maggie Coles-Lister comes up her inside and gets the wheel of Gillespie. SD Works launch, but there's no Vibes on her wheel. And when you actually see on the inside, she's like, oh no, there's no Vibes. Backstedt starts to lead out for UAE Team ADQ. Vibes, I mean, this is looking sketchy for her right here. If it gets like waved across from the right-hand side, she would be properly boxed in. That doesn't happen thanks to the UAE Team ADQ lead out being so strong, because that opens up that inside line a little bit. But we'll see it in the overhead. I think she does. No, not. I think she definitely squeezes Maggie Coles-Lister. Fortunately for her, it gets partially obscured, the move, by the overhead in the trees. But anyway, she breaks free. She wins the sprint easily. Lorena Vibes taking her 7th UAE Tour stage. But here you see, she goes right. Barbieri's there. And then Maggie Coles-Lister, she's claimed the wheel of Gillespie now. And then Vibes realizes that she's going to have to swing onto Gillespie's wheel because Barbieri's stopping. And so she swings to the left and the trees start. And then as they end, you see basically, Maggie Coles-Lister getting chopped and having to panic brake to not get crashed by Vibes chopping her. So is it a relegation? I say yes. I say yes, because that's the only way to stop Lorena Vibes at the moment. And I think Maggie Coles-Lister probably would have been on the podium without getting chopped there. So Vibes wins ahead of Gillespie, then Backstedt, Maggie Coles-Lister, Alzini, Verhulst, Baker, Norsgaard, Björk, Barbieri, and Lloyd. Here's what she had to say after the race.
Yeah, we did a good job as a team in the last 10 kilometers. I knew from 2 years ago that this is a difficult finish because it's so long, it's straight line. But we could use also the other teams in the final, and luckily I found the gap to be able to sprint.
As the local team, UAE made it more difficult for you.
Yeah, they did actually a really good lead out. They timed it really good, and we know that we have not our perfect lead out team here. So that's why we plan to start the lead out early, and then Barbara and me will find our way, and that's how we could use Team UAE, and it worked out good today.
Can you tell us more about your positioning and your choices in the last few hundred meters?
Yeah, I chose the wheel of Gillespie because I saw that the lead-out train of UAE had a lot of speed, and then it was a bit of a gamble to choose the left side, because if they close the door, then you're not able to sprint. But on the right, it was also a bit stuck with other riders, so I chose the left side, and it was possible to start my sprint.
Tomorrow we have another sprint. I don't think there's much wind predicted, so it is looking like another Lorena Vibes victory. Why doesn't every team just go on the breakaway? That's what I think they should do. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you with the recap tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.